By Hertz, where the winners rent. By Chrysler Corporation. See the mileage makers at your Dodge or Chrysler Plymouth dealers. And by Radio Shack, the nationwide supermarket of sound.
Welcome to St. Louis, Missouri, Bush Memorial Stadium. Dick Enberg with Merlin Olsen. The Cardinals 1-1, lost by only 1 point to the Dallas Cowboys against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Kickoff. Little of the Cardinals sends it deep down the middle to Larry Anderson of Pittsburgh. Anderson out to the 10, 15, 20, 25, and toppled hard at the 28-yard line. Good block by Anthony Anderson, and Ken Green, number 37, made the hit for St. Louis. The Cardinals defense on the field will face this offensive set for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Terry Bradshaw. Interestingly, Bradshaw and Hart, neither one in the top 10 in the NFL passing thus far. Sidney Thornton, 4 touchdowns, 2 games, and the incomparable Franco Harris behind Bradshaw. Bradshaw sends his wide receivers, Stallworth and Swan, both to the left side. Tight end Randy Grossman is on the right side. First play from the Pittsburgh 28, Thornton in motion. Franco gets 2, gets 4, fumble, and I believe the Cardinals have the football at the 31-yard line. This sellout crowd in St. Louis sees 57, Mark Arneson, who recovered a fumble and took it for a touchdown last week against the Giants, come up with a loose ball.
Franco Harris, certainly one of the steadiest runners in the league when it comes to controlling the ball, but was just smashed unmercifully by the Cardinals there. They put the helmet right on the ball. It popped clean, and they've got a big break right away. Let's see if they can capitalize on it, Dick.
Veteran quarterback Jim Hart in his 14th year has the ball at the Pittsburgh 32. That's Gary Parris, tight end, moving to the right side. And Hart trying to throw on first down. Complete at the 25, and down immediately goes number 32, Otis Anderson, the sensational 22-year-old rookie from Miami of Florida. Browns, the Otis Brown, the second pick of these Cardinals out of UCLA, and Otis Anderson, the first running back selected in the draft last spring, are the running backs behind Hart. His wide receivers, Mel Gray, a deep threat, Gary Parris and Al Chandler, 2 tight ends, one playing wide receiver. Actually, Pat Tilley is in now at wide receiver to the left. 2nd and 3, and Anderson gets only a yard or 2 up the middle. Anderson, nearly 200 yards against the Cowboys, over 100 yards last week against the Giants. He and William Andrews of the Atlanta Falcons trying to do something that no rookie has ever done, and that is rush 3 consecutive 100-yard games in their first 3 NFL games. And there's the line for St. Louis.
They've had to do some shuffling with the loss of their great All-Pro Dan Deerdorf. They've got Joe Bostic, number 71, in there, but they're glad to welcome Tom Banks back to the lineup. He's been out for a number of weeks with a deep thigh bruise. Other than that, the lineup stays the same.
We'll keep our eye on 71 Bostic, trying to fill some mighty big shoes. All-Pro Deerdorf out for the year. The Otis Brown on the draw has a first down at the 20-yard line. It was Terry Steve, 68, and Joe Bostic, 71, who gave him a little daylight.
In the first couple of weeks of the season, it's been the Pittsburgh defense that's been the shining unit for Pittsburgh, and a couple of youngsters in there, Tom Beasley and Gary Dunn, in place of L.C. Greenwood and Steve Furness, who are both in Pittsburgh, did not even make the trip with knee injuries.
Beasley, replacing Greenwood last week, had 11 unassisted tackles, a record for a Steeler defensive lineman, so the caliber doesn't drop off much. On first down, Anderson almost away. A touchdown-saving tackle by Donnie Shell, number 31. It appeared that Anderson was on his way for 6.
One of the things we were told to watch for is the ability of Anderson to cut laterally. Watch this as he follows the lead block into the hole, sees daylight to the outside, and without losing stride, accelerates just quickly. And if Shell hadn't been a pull right of his ankle, he would have been outside and had big yardage on that one.
2nd and 5 at the 15-yard line. Tilley and Gray to the left. Hart to throw. In trouble, and down he goes in the grasp of 76, John Banaszak, at the 32-yard line. Make that the 27-yard line. The first sack for the Steelers, who have 10 in the first 2 games this year. Great line backing. Ham, Lambert, and Cole, and of course the backups Winston and Valentine and Taves are tough as well. Deep backs, Ron Johnson, Mel Blunt, they'll come up and challenge you on the line of scrimmage. It's tough for the receivers to get out. And Shell and Wagner, 2 excellent safeties. Wagner with 2 interceptions last week against Houston. On the sack, it's now 3rd and 15. Dave Steve in motion. And Hart needing 15 for a first down. No flag. Shell right on Steve, and some of the fans across the way felt that he bumped him early.
Pittsburgh Steelers play a very aggressive and physical style of defense, not just on the line of scrimmage, but in the secondary as well. But they're also smart football players. They know what the rules are, and they know how to take advantage of them to a sense that a good athlete does take advantage of the rules. They know that if they're entitled position defensively, and by gosh, they'll take it out there.
Mike Wood, second-year kicker from Southeast Missouri State, out of Roger Worley's hold, and Charlie Davis, number 76, late getting in to block. That was the spot what Deerdorf occupied before he was hurt. This is a 47-yard attempt. No good to the left, and Wood opens this year 0 for 5. It was a 43-yard try by Wood, and he's looking for his first field goal of this new season. Cardinals unable to take advantage of the fumble recovery. No score early, first quarter.
All the people who make the sidelines are part of the show.
This bud's for you. For all you do, the king of beers is coming through.
Yeah, just for you, that distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
For all you do.
This Bud's for you.
Here on NBC, Dick Enberg with Merlin Olsen. I have a feeling we're going to see a fine game today.
I just, you know, on paper, it's certainly a bit of a one-sided match because Pittsburgh has played so well. But the Cardinals are a much improved football team, and it looks like they're ready to play today.
Cardinals, however, unable to take advantage of the fumble recovery on the Steelers' first play. There goes Sidney Thornton. He caught the Cardinals in a blitz, and it's Thornton all the way out to the 42-yard line and a first down.
Last week, Terry Bradshaw used his count masterfully to take advantage of Houston, and he did it again there, forcing the linebacker to commit himself on the blitz too early. He was out of body position, unable to control that gap, and Sidney Thornton pops in behind to make fine yardage.
17-yard gain for Thornton, and the Steelers have their first down. Initial first down of the game. Bradshaw, Stallworth left, and Swan right. Thornton again, and a flag is down as Thornton is out near midfield.
Now, I'm afraid
Let's check other scores, Merlin, as we see the holding call against Pittsburgh. They're in overtime. The Broncos and the Falcons tied at 17. Final, and the Jets have their first win of the season, 31-10 over the Detroit Lions. Final, New England, and we understand that Cincinnati quarterback Ken Anderson left the game with an injury. Patriots struggled to a 2014 win. They're 2-1.
Holding, number 52, offense, first down.
Mike Webster whistled for the hold. Jerry Markbright, the referee. You saw that other final, Philadelphia beating New Orleans.
Webster, of course, going head-to-head with Charlie Davis, who was drafted and played for a year with the Steelers.
Cleveland leading late in the game, 13-10 against Baltimore. Brown's trying to be a 3-0 beginner. Bradshaw's pass right at the shoelaces of Thornton, incomplete. And after the holding penalty, it's second down and 20. Minnesota and Miami, and the Vikings, tough defense, holding the unbeaten Dolphins to a touchdown, and they lead. Minnesota leads on their home field by 5 in the fourth quarter. Tampa Bay and Green Bay, the battle of the NFL Bays, and Tampa has 21 and Green has 3. Houston trying to rebound from that tough loss at Pittsburgh last Sunday ahead of Kansas City before halftime. Second and 20 call. It's Harris. He gets out to the 36, maybe the 37. Steve Niels, number 53, and Tim Carney, 56. Two of the linebackers in that 3-4 defense made the stop.
We didn't have a chance to introduce you to the Pittsburgh offensive line. John Cove, Steve Corson playing in favor of Sam Davis, the captain, who is Got about another week on the injured list. Webster, you saw holding a minute ago. Not the kind of publicity he wants, and the other two on the left side is normal. Although Larry Brown is starting today, back from an injury that's kept him out for a long time.
Whoops. Premature movement by number 77 in that offensive line, Steve Corson, and the Cardinals react and get the 5-yard penalty.
Two mistakes here early, and we're not used to seeing that from this veteran team. Bob Pollard, Charlie Davis, and Mike Dawson, the 3-man defensive line.
Third down.
And Steve Niels, Tim Carney, Eric Williams inside, and Mark Arneson. Arneson, of course, the hero last week as he picked up a fumble and ambled into the end zone, put 7 points on the board. I think it was a birthday present.
That's right. He was 30 years old. Good way to celebrate. Bradshaw on 3rd down 20. Deep down the middle, almost intercepted by number 27, Carl Allen. And Bradshaw fortunately had that ball too high, or that would have been a turnover.
Bradshaw always hangs that kind of pass high, knowing that his receivers, Swan and Stallworth, will go up after it. And it's very difficult to go up there with them. They have such great leaping ability. And we've seen Terry throw too many of those passes to feel that it's an accident. He puts it up there on purpose.
Good point, Merlin. And there's a case where he figures if anyone's going to get up to catch it, it'll be Stallworth or Swan. Craig Colquitt, averaging 40 a kick, angles it to the sidelines and out of bounds. Going to be a fairly short kick. Let's see where they mark it as the official comes up to about the 30-yard line. Yes, St. Louis will put it in play. Bud Wilkinson's Cardinals have it again. First down at the Bird 30-yard line. 9:52 remaining first quarter. No score. No score. The Cardinals and the Steelers. You see the black armbands worn by the St. Louis players in memory of J.B. Kane, the tight end who died during the summer training period, and the announcement just this week that it was an incredibly rare congenital heart condition that proved to be fatal for Kane. Ball at the 30-yard line. And good power up the middle goes Otis Anderson for 4 yards, and he carried about 3 Steelers with him.
We got some more scores coming in, Dick.
Big score. Miami has just gone ahead on a Don Strock to Larry Zonka. 6-yard pass with the extra point block, so something's wrong with Greasy. Yes, he injured his leg early in the second half. But Miami now leads by 1. Seattle draws the first score in the Kingdome against the Oakland Raiders. Gary Parrish, the tight end, out of the full house backfield, moves to the right side. Theotis Brown slams out close to a first down at the 40-yard line. These two young rookies, Otis and Theotis, show some power. Denver beats Atlanta 20-17 in overtime. So the Broncos are now 2-1. It's a first down for the St. Louis Cardinals.
We certainly have our sights on Otis Anderson, but we don't want to overlook Theotis. Certainly we had a chance to see him do a lot of great running as a collegiate, and with the power and speed that he has in combination, that could be a most impressive backfield.
Again, Parrish shifts to the right side. Gray right and Tilley left. Hart. He's got a man open. Mel Gray. 35, 30, 25, 20. Out of bounds at the 13-yard line. Mel Gray, written down by Donnie Shell.
We didn't expect to see number 85 Mel Gray in the game today. He's been nursing a hamstring pull and was questionable right up till game time. But you can see right there the reason that Jim Hart and Bud Wilkinson want Mel Gray in the lineup. He gets deep and he gets open, and Hart has it right on the money. Gray in front of the defenders shows you what he can do with that when he gets the ball down in their territory too. Away from Wagner, finally run out of bounds by Donnie Shell and Ron Johnson. But that's a big play.
And that's a 78-game streak in which Gray has caught at least one pass. A 43-yard gain. First down, St. Louis. Ball at the 13. Hart's going to throw. Anderson incomplete. That would have been an interesting confrontation. 58 Jack Lambert from his middle linebacking position coming over to cover Anderson. Oh, that might have been a delightful collision for the football aficionados down at that end of the field.
Hart was reacting quickly to the blitz by Ham as both the linebackers from the outside coming hard. He dumped it off quickly, but was forced to throw it so quickly that he did not have it on target.
The Bears take the early lead against the Dallas Cowboys 7-0. That's at Dallas. And San Francisco has taken a 7-0 lead against the Los Angeles Rams in the first quarter. Hart on 2nd and 10 from the Steeler 13. Otis Anderson at the 10, 5, touchdown St. Louis. And the love affair between the city of St. Louis and 22-year-old Otis Anderson continues.
Well, I'll tell you, I love him too. What a great run he put on for us right here. Takes the football. It looks like a play designed to come inside of the end. Anderson dips inside just a little bit and then just shows that great speed to the outside. And he makes it look easy against a team that does not give up easy touchdowns.
Mike Wood's point after is no good. And Wood, who has missed 5 field goals, has now missed an extra point. And that takes a little of the sweet taste out of the Cardinal touchdown. But they lead. First quarter, 8:19 remaining. It's 6-0 St. Louis. As you look at Bud Wilkinson, Chuck Noll, a couple other coaches, Don Shula's Dolphins, bettering Bud Grant's Vikings 13-12, and Miami had to come from behind to make it 3-0. They haven't lost yet this year. Long kick by Little. He really rooted that one out, and Anderson will squat on it and take the touchback. Let's go back and make a correction. Bud Wilkinson changed his place kickers for that extra point, and it was Steve Little, not Mike Wood, who missed the extra point. And it's making Mr. Wilkinson's hair even grayer. The problem with the place kicking. Wood has not been successful on the field goals, and Little's had his troubles too.
Wilkinson has an unusual situation. He has 2 kickers, both of which are capable of punting and place kicking. A most unique situation.
Of course, Jim Bakken, the veteran, the #2 scorer all time in NFL history, released after last year. Franco Harris gets it to the 25, maybe the 26-yard line before Eric Red Williams from the University of Southern California and Bob Pollard can collaborate on the stop.
We don't get a chance to go in and look at the men in the pits as often as we'd like, but one of the reasons that that play was successful was because of the fine blocking by number 52, Mike Webster. Webster, as we said, is working on number 76, Charlie Davis. Did an excellent job of pinning him, holding him to the inside.
So an injury timeout, a fallen Cardinal in the secondary. We'll check that when we return. 6-0 St. Louis. As you see, Dallas has tied Chicago in the first quarter. The injured Cardinal was Carl Allen. He's been replaced by Perry Smith, number 45, in the secondary for St. Louis. Allen left under his own power, appeared to be okay. 2nd and 4, ball at the Steeler 26. Sidney Thornton outside. Goes with speed and a first down, but a flag is down where Jerry Mullins was blocking Ken Green, and it appears to be holding against Pittsburgh.
That's a shame. It had developed as a beautiful play. On the inside, we had looked earlier at the battle between Webster and Charlie Davis, and on that particular play, Webster drove Davis back and dumped him right on his back. Webster, one of the strongest centers in the NFL, and able to do a beautiful job. We'll give you a look at it. Watch now the battle of 2 bulls inside. Webster about 250 and Davis about 275, and that's
number
just
72 offense, 2nd down.
You hear the call against Mullins. That's just superior upper body strength from a center. You don't see many centers do that to find strong middle guards like Charlie Davis.
That's a 3rd Pittsburgh penalty, 25 yards. The Cardinals have not had a yard marched off as yet. 2nd down 14. Thornton on a draw gets it to the 19-yard line, where it'll be 3rd down and 11. Eric Williams, one of the middle inside linebackers for the Cardinals, made the stop. He wears 55. Let's run down all the finals quickly for the fans. Merlin, 20-17. Denver beat Atlanta in overtime. Jets over Detroit 31-10. Final New England 20, Cincinnati 14. Philadelphia beat New Orleans 26-14. Cleveland 13, Baltimore 10, a final. And we'll keep you abreast of all the scores in progress as they come into our NFL NBC booth. 3rd and 11. Stallworth left and Swan right. Passing situation. On a blitz, Lee Nelson, number 38, comes through cleanly and gets Bradshaw.
Cardinals are a team that love to blitz and stunt. They sent one of their extra backs. There were 6 on the field on that particular play, and they sent one of them in where they had no protection for Bradshaw. Bradshaw, of course, could not see him as he was coming from the blind side. They got instant pressure and got a sack, and now Colquitt will be kicking out of his own end zone.
Colquitt averaging 40 yards a punt. Line drive. This could be returned. Number 39, Willard Harrell, on his birthday, covered well by the Steelers at the 40-yard line. So Harrell and St. Louis will put it in play with a 6-0 lead at their own 40. A reminder, folks, tonight at 8 o'clock here on NBC, Bob Hope on the road to China. Taped entirely in the People's Republic of China. 3 hours. Features Crystal Gale, Shields, and Yarnell. And Merlin Olsen's favorite, the Big Bird.
And I love watching Bob Hope and whatever he does. What a marvelous entertainer. And I tell you, his schedule would kill us off, Dick. He keeps going and going and going.
He really is a legend in his own time. 6:24 remains in the first quarter. The Steelers trailing the Cardinals 6-0. And St. Louis has the ball at the 40. Anderson, good block on the corner. And he's out of bounds at the St. Louis bench at the 49 after he picks up nearly 9 more, but a flag is down.
Theodis Brown very angry about something. There it is.
Holding against St. Louis, so the Cardinals have their first penalty. Boy, that Anderson, he gets you to recognize his power off tackle. You make one false step, and the way he zipped around that corner, he left everyone in as if their shoes were nailed to the carpet, Merlin.
The thing that's interesting to me is watching him run. He has a kind of a shuffling gait. It never looks like his feet are that far off the turf, which gives him a great advantage because he can cut so quickly. But it almost looked like he was hovering as he went outside. Let's listen.
Holding, number 71, offense, first down.
Joe Bostic, the rookie at right tackle, with the hold. Anderson wears number 32, and his name is Otis Jerome, so they call him OJ and Scooter, among many nicknames. And I said 32 because of O.J. Simpson. He said, no, I wanted 40. I said 40. He says, hey, my man is Gale Sayers, number 40. What a great one he was with the Bears. Of course, now the athletic director where Jim Hart went to school, Southern Illinois. Anderson greeted by 76 John Banaszak, who slammed in from his right tackle position. So Banaszak logs one of the rare deficits on Anderson's report card.
From the end zone, you got a chance to see this hole close as Banaszak slides inside the block and just takes a dead zero on number 32, Otis Anderson, and puts him down. Banaszak has really come into his own as a defensive lineman, starting in place of Dwight White. They split a lot of time last year, but Dwight's been hurt. It's going to be tough for him to get his job back the way Banaszak is playing.
It's a big loss for St. Louis, now facing second down at about 24. Hart going long for Gray. Too far at the 40 of Pittsburgh with Wagner and Johnson, 23 and 29, covering Speedy Mel Gray.
Dick, you talked about the defensive coverage and the ability of this defense to cover passes. Gray has punctured them once for a long one today, and they're going to have no part of it. You see the double coverage on Gray as he gets downfield. 2 people right there making it impossible. I think Hart wisely threw that one over the top and threw it away.
3rd and 24. The ball at the St. Louis 27, and J.T. Thomas, number 24, comes in as the 5th Pittsburgh defensive back.
We're seeing more and more situation defenses. Pittsburgh utilizing 5 backs. Of course, the Cardinals with 6 defensive backs.
And the Cardinals come in with 3 wide receivers. Dave Steep being the 3rd. Steep in motion. Hart in trouble. And he finds Tilley on the sidelines. Not good enough for the first down. Complete at the 44. And the Cardinal punting team comes in. Pat Tilley, what a story. He's only 5'10", 171 pounds. He caught 62 last year.
Early last season, when we had a chance to do a Cardinal game, he was a question mark. They said he's not very big, but he runs such great disciplined pass routes. And Bud Wilkinson said, if all my players had the heart and the discipline of Pat Tilley, we'd whip everybody in the NFL.
We've gone from a 13-12 final to Miami leading by a bigger margin. And other scores as they come in. 20-12 now, Dolphins. Little to punt. It's a beauty.
Big kick.
Jim Smith, he doesn't fair catch them at the 12. Hemmed in and hauled down at the 8-yard line. Smith, who has never called for a fair catch in the NFL, and he is tackled by Eric Williams, 55 of the St. Louis Cardinals. Also downfield for St. Louis, number 25, Roy Green.
Pittsburgh has been accused of being a kind of a mechanical football team in games that are not big games, and they are lucky enough and strong enough to get away with it. They certainly have bumped up against an aroused St. Louis team today, and Pittsburgh better be careful. They're liable to go home with a few lumps on their head.
4:40 left in the first quarter. 6-0 St. Louis. Bradshaw screens it to Stallworth. Fumble, and the Cardinals have the football. Covered by number 56, Tim Carney, but it was John Zook, 63, who made the hit.
They say that Carney, number 56, is a wild man, but he certainly was all over the field on that one. Read the play beautifully and did what you have to do defensively. Shook the ball right loose from a receiver who's usually pretty sure-handed. The play is open. Stallworth has it. There's room downfield. Now watch Carney coming inside out. You see Zook right there. He gets a piece of him. Bang. The ball pops loose. And there's Carney, number 56, laying right on top of it. That's great reaction for number 63, Zook, as he steamed outside to get a hold of it.
Cardinals first down at the 18-yard line. They lead 6-0, and a penalty flag as Theodis Brown all the way to the 8-yard line. But it appeared someone on the left side of the Cardinal line jumped the count. No, it's against Pittsburgh. Jack Lambert apparently moved into that neutral zone as San Diego leads Buffalo out on the West Coast 7-6 in the first quarter.
One of the challenges that Jim Hart and his offensive team face today is working with Joe Bostic. We mentioned the fact that he has taken Deardorff's place out there.
Offside, number 75, defense, declined, second down.
Joe Green was offside, but the run by Brown to the 9-yard line is the play the Cardinals want. They'll take second and a yard and a half rather than 1st and 5.
I can't blame them for that. That puts them down inside the 10-yard line. They need that first down. If they get it, they'll be close to the 5. That's a good way to attack that end zone.
Gary Parrish, tight end, again shifts right. Whoa! Brown and a fumble, and who's got it? St. Louis somehow managed to fall on that football when two black shirts were right there to pounce on it. Jack Ham came through cleanly, but the fumble was created when another offside against Pittsburgh. So a break for the Cardinals. That'll carry a first down. But the fumble occurred when Brown and Hart ran into each other on the exchange. Here it is.
Watch the mistake right here. It looked like Brown just in the wrong hole. A quarterback like Hart doesn't make that kind of mistake very often. So the ball bounced free, touched by Ham there, but the penalty is going to nullify the fumble.
Defense, first down.
Jack Ham was offside. Apparently he was coming in on that blitz and jumped the count. 1st and goal for Bud Wilkinson's Cardinals inside the Pittsburgh 5.
Now they failed to capitalize on the first fumble they picked up in Steeler territory. If they don't get something out of this one, it would put them in a real disadvantage.
Meantime, Chuck Noll staring at a possible 13-0 deficit. Brown gets a couple straight ahead behind the wedge blocking of Banks, the center, Young and Steve, the guards. A score, fourth quarter, Tampa Bay leads Green Bay 21-10. The Packers scoring with 8 minutes left. David Whitehurst to James Lofton, a 12-yard pass.
Wayne Morris has been playing a great deal more than Theodis Brown. Theodis has been injured through much of training camp, and they hadn't had a chance to work him as much as they wanted to. It looks like they've made some decisions. They've got him out there, and this backfield has really proved to be an effective combination for the Cardinals. But there's bound to be some confusion. You see it right there. When you get people who have not worked that much together, Brown has not been in that backfield that much with Anderson and Hart. You see right there that Hart has to call a timeout rather than take the penalty for taking too much time.
It wasn't just Anderson and Brown. Another new member of the Cardinal backfield, your former teammate with the Rams, Rod Phillips, had just come in a power T formation, and Hart just didn't have the right people in the right spot.
Well, we're talking about that backfield. It's perhaps interesting that you see the tight end in that backfield very often for the Cardinals. Wilkinson likes to do that to try and confuse the defense. He'll shift him right, shift him left, may put him in motion, may use a running play with the tight end as a blocker. Gives him some flexibility.
So Hart, his backup quarterback Steve Pisarkowitz. Bud Wilkinson talk it over. It'll be 2nd and goal at the 3-yard line. Just about, well, 10 to 15 games left in this 1979 baseball year, and 3 tremendous pennant races. Pittsburgh involved in the National League East will be at Chicago's Wrigley Field next Saturday on our NBC telecast. The Minnesota Twins still alive, and the American League West will be at County Stadium, Milwaukee. We hope you'll join us with Sports World following our baseball action next Saturday afternoon. Number 12, Steve Little, thinking about his role either for the extra point or a field goal try. It's 2nd and goal at the 3. Cardinals 6, Steelers nothing. St. Louis has pounced on 2 Pittsburgh fumbles in the Steelers half of the field here in the first quarter. From the 3. It's Anderson outside, and he loses 2. Did a good job just to gain from what would have been about a 5-yard loss. Dennis Winston, 53. Mike Wagner, 23, up to make the hit. So it'll be 3rd and goal from the 5. And oh, how does that change the play call?
Well, it forces a lot of pressure on the offense. The play, by the way, designed to go around the left end. Banaszak got tremendous pressure and penetration, and actually I thought Anderson did a great job not to go down well behind the line of scrimmage. Kept his feet and did lose a little bit of yardage, but could easily have been knocked down by the penetration of Banaszak.
3rd and goal at the 5. Hart. Anderson almost caught that football on the goal line as Hart floated it out there, and Anderson very nearly with a diving catch right on the goal line, covered by Jack Ham, and Hart throwing out of tremendous pressure.
A little play action pass didn't fool anybody as the Steelers were coming with the blitz. They had instant pressure on Hart, and boy, that's a dangerous pass. There are a lot of black shirts out there, and they got about as much shot at that one as Anderson did. Luckily, it wasn't intercepted. They got a chance to go for the 3 points.
Little to try. Up, and it's good. That's the first field goal of the year for the Cardinals, and of course the fans give quite a cheer. Steve Little, 22-yard field goal, and with 2:50 remaining in the first quarter, St. Louis boosts its lead to 9-0.
Little was turned upside down on that last play and got up looking at the official. You got a smile there from him. The official came over and said, "Look, it's good. What more do you want?" And of course, Little was happy about that. Watch him here. Finishes the kick, and someone goes underneath. I don't think they really tapped him. Those kickers become great ballerinas and great actors. He was doing a little of his acting there.
So the Cardinals, after the fumble recovery, Zook dislodging the ball from the grasp of Stallworth, and Arneson falling on it, and Carney falling on it at the 18-yard line. St. Louis unable to get the touchdown. They settled for the 3-pointer from 22 yards out. It's 9-0 Cardinals.
So far, the Cardinals have not only outclassed the Steelers offensively, but their defense has been a major part of their success in the early part of this game.
Larry Anderson fumbles and wisely stays in his own end zone. It'll be first down Pittsburgh at the 20. The Cardinals playing very well defensively, and Pittsburgh shakily here in the first 15 minutes. Bradshaw dumps it out to Harris, incomplete. Franco, had he caught the ball, was headed upfield at full speed. San Diego has a 7-point lead against Buffalo out at San Diego, 13-6 early second quarter.
Tom Bettis, defensive coach for the Cardinals, has torn a page out of Red Miller's playbook. He rotates his defensive linemen, puts in a whole new fresh unit, He's got Zook and Simons and Jankowski in there now, and feels that having fresh defensive linemen in there can put some pressure on the offensive line and certainly give them a better chance to rush the passer.
2nd and 10. Bradshaw hit by Zook, gets away, and now upfield, incomplete for Cunningham, number 89, and a flag goes down, and I believe that's going to be against St. Louis.
It's a late hit by Carney. Carney over there, and receiver out of bounds. Benny Cunningham out of bounds. No reason to hit him. Carney unloaded on him, and the official immediately threw the flag down. The roughness, there you see the call. They'll be marching off 15 yards, and that's the kind of play that really hurts you. Bradshaw gets away from what appears to be a sure sack here. Zook has him, and it's just some good athletic ability on the part of the quarterback, and that's the kind of thing he does. Turns the big play into a big loss into a big play. Cunningham, watch it right there. There's no reason to unload on a guy like that. Carney just a little bit carried away.
Number 56, defense, late hit out of bounds, 1st down.
Well, his momentum going and his head down. It didn't appear to be a vicious attempt by Carney, but the official on the spot felt it was unnecessary, and it cost the Cardinals. 1st down at the 35 after the 15-yard walk-off. Bradshaw has Stallworth open. John Stallworth fumbles, and who's got it? At the 42-yard line, Pittsburgh comes up with a loose ball.
We saw Pittsburgh drop the ball a number of times last week against Houston and recover it time after time. They've done it today. They've dropped it 3 times. They've lost the first 2. They were able to pick that one back up. But Bradshaw did a masterful job of reading that zone. His receivers read the zones well, too. Stallworth found the seam. Bradshaw found Stallworth. Big play, but they're lucky to get the fumble back inside of Cardinal 50-yard line for the first time today.
Ball at the 42. It was Stallworth who recovered his own fumble. Bradshaw back to the air, down the middle. 1st down, Cunningham to the 20, and he's all the way to the 17-yard line. Benny Cunningham, 6'5" and 247. He's like trying to tackle a gravel truck.
There are 3 important ingredients in the pass. First, you've got to protect your quarterback. Give him time to throw. Then the quarterback, you see Larry Brown doing an excellent job there. Then you've got to get the pass on target. That one right between 2 defenders. And then I'll tell you, Benny Cunningham makes believers out of him. You can see why they've missed him in the lineup. Looks like they're trying to jump on a rodeo horse there.
Carl Allen, 27, back in the game, and indeed take a straight arm. Bradshaw looking for 6. Gets it. Stallworth, touchdown. John Stallworth, his first touchdown of this season.
Number 22, Roger Worley, considered one of the finest corners in all of pro football. But he has got his hands full today with John Stallworth because they're trying to give Allen some help on the other side. That means that you're going to see a lot of Stallworth one-on-one with Worley, and Stallworth is an exceptionally gifted athlete. You see him there finding room. You see the disappointment on number 22, Worley, as he stands next to the sideline there. Well, or not next to the sideline. They're going to rush the extra point, but that hurts. That hurts.
Matt Barr's try for point is good. So with 57 seconds remaining in the first quarter, the Steelers close the gap to 9-7 as Bradshaw hit on 3 consecutive passes to Stallworth, then to Cunningham, then to Stallworth, and just like that, Pittsburgh, in a matter of about 35-40 seconds, has 7 points. For a big one, the late game, all on NBC next Sunday. Barr kicks it away. 15-20 goes Roy Green out to the 35, the 40, and the 41-yard line. The rookie, Green, makes a fine return before J.T. Thomas can make the tackle. Green, picked in the 4th round out of Henderson State. He said, be sure to say hello to the folks in Magnolia, Arkansas. He almost did that with a long return.
Now, the ball was kicked low. One of the problems with Barr is that he does not have a powerful leg, but he usually puts the ball high, and you've got time to get down and cover it. That one was a line driver that hit short, and you see the result.
48 seconds left in the first quarter. 9-7. St. Louis leads it. Hart, Anderson, he's going to throw the ball. Theodis Brown. No, it's intercepted by Shell, and he drops the ball out of bounds. He had it for a moment, and lost it going out of bounds.
But they would love to have gotten it and got another quick touchdown on the board.
2nd and 10. Out of the eye, Brown at fullback, Anderson the tailback. Oops, that's going to be a motion penalty against Anderson. He was moving forward at the snap. Ham made the tackle after no gain, and Pittsburgh might well just take the play and bring up 3rd and 10.
One of the most successful cogs in this Pittsburgh defensive machine is number 59, Jack Ham. You see him taking on the block of Paris, the tight end, and just shedding him to the inside, then getting good position, forcing Anderson back inside, and then making the tackle. You're right, Dick. They will refuse a penalty, as you had anticipated, take the down away from the Cardinals, force them into a 3rd and 10, and of course we see the extra people coming from the sideline. Dirt Winston popping into the lineup, number 53, and we're going to have one defensive lineman. There you see him, Gary Dunn, going off the field. It'll be a 3-man rush, an extra linebacker in the game.
Cardinals use 3 wide receivers, Tilley, Stieff, and Gray. And Stieff in motion. Good protection. And he could not find Mel Gray down at the Pittsburgh 30-yard line. 10 men on the line of scrimmage for the Steelers as Little back to punt. Jim Smith at the Pittsburgh 20. Wobbly kick. Smith can return it. 22, 25, and down at the 30. But the Steelers come out of that with pretty good field position. John Bearfield, the 2nd-year linebacker of Texas A&I, Dr. Doom he calls himself, made the tackle. But Wilkinson said this young man has improved tremendously from last year when most of his football was done verbally. This year he's come in better shape and he's learned the game. And Bud says he thinks he's going to be really a fine player.
I think this whole Cardinal team has improved, and they've demonstrated some of that today.
Bradshaw to Thornton for 3 to the 33. Eric Williams made the tackle. That could well be the last play of this first quarter. 15 seconds showing. Dallas now leads 10-7 in the 2nd quarter after the Bears took the early lead. Looks like a space saucer, doesn't it? Those are the portholes atop the beautiful arch here along the Mississippi in St. Louis, which you make the ride up there in those sleds. You can look out over this part of Missouri and Illinois to the east. We open the 2nd quarter. Dick Enberg with Merlin Olsen. Pittsburgh trailing St. Louis 9-7. Bradshaw to throw. Wide open Cunningham. Breaks 1 tackle, but not the 2nd. He has a first down at the 44-yard line.
Successful passers. This Steeler offensive line will give him time to unload it. They did a good job on that particular play.
Franco Harris hit hard at the 45-yard line. Number 53, Steve Niels, crashed in from the left side linebacker spot, supported by Ken Green, 37. Niels from the University of Minnesota.
One of the disappointments so far during the year for the Pittsburgh Steelers is the fact that they have not run the ball well. You see Larry Brown pulling around in a combination block and getting a good piece of his man. But overall, this Steeler team has not been a very good running team, and they're very concerned about that. It's going to be a problem for them.
Harris is averaging only 2.9 yards a carry. Harris again out close to the 50-yard line, where it'll be 3rd down and a short 5. Steelers to take the lead. They're down 9-7. This is 3rd and 5. Deep for Swan, but intercepted. That's Ken Stone. 30, 35, 40, 45. He's to the 50-yard line. Bradshaw made the tackle. First down, St. Louis, their 3rd turnover. NFL lead. He's a ball hawk. Cardinals leading 9-7, have it at the Pittsburgh 49. Anderson to the 47. It'll be 2nd and 8.
This half ends.
The Buccaneers are 3-0. They beat Green Bay 21-10. Anderson, well, no hole at all, just his force and power driving for 3 to the 44. Number 24, 5th defensive back. Look how they line up. Almost every Steeler on the line of scrimmage.
Blitz.
Steve at the 40, I believe, close to the first down, but short by a yard as Donnie Shell made the tackle. It'll be 4th and 1.
Well, that's a tragic error. Hart read the blitz coming, throws the pattern right there as Steve breaks off the pattern against the blitz, but he was not deep enough to pick up the first down. A cardinal sin for a wide receiver, for any receiver for that matter.
Al Hart with 5 completions, now just 6 away, a half dozen away from that 2,000 completion club. He'd be the 10th player to do it.
And they're going on 4th down. Interesting decision by Wilkinson.
Anderson. First down, and there was one black shirt left. 53, Dennis Winston from a touchdown, and Winston doing a little verbalizing on Anderson after he picked up the first down.
Anderson made an absolutely incredible cut. Started to the outside and must have great vision because a hole popped open inside. You'll be watching it from ground level. Watch him. He's starting outside, and look how quickly he cuts and accelerates up to the inside. Really forced the Steelers to react by his direction, and then took advantage, and you see the little scuffle. Dirt Winston giving him a little extra wrestle on the ground.
First down for the Cardinals at the 36. Hart open. Pat Tilley all the way to the 14-yard line. First down, St. Louis.
Jim Hart had had a brilliant preseason, had 2 not too good of games, very average games for Jim Hart, but he is certainly on the money today and reading well as he pops one to Tilley in the open. They're down there knocking at the door again.
Thomas Lott is in the game. Watch out for this Oklahoma former wishbone quarterback. Let's see what they do. Well, play action. Hart to the goal line, but not in. Goes 89, Gary Paris. Paris thought he had a touchdown. It'll be 1st and goal at about the 1-foot line.
You want to know how it feels to be down in the middle of the action? Right there, looking at the quarterback. And there is not much room. He threaded the needle on that one. They've got it on about the half-yard line. They'll try and put it in the end zone and extend their lead. What a super drive for the Cardinals.
Well, that's just a pebble of leather away from the goal line. 1st and goal. 4 shots at it from an inch away.
Full house backfield.
Whoa. Up the middle. Touchdown. Theodis Brown, the rookie from UCLA. Now the Cardinals take an interception and turn it into 6 points. Or was that Rod Phillips who got the score? Let's look at it again.
You see the handoff right there, and it's Theodis Brown, as you called it, Dick, over the top, and he met 2 Steelers who were also coming over the top. What a crunching collision that was.
No good. Little misses his 2nd extra point, and those extra points could come back to haunt the Cardinals. So with 8.5 minutes remaining in the 2nd quarter, St. Louis, in a most unusual football score, leads it 15-7. 15-7 St. Louis. We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
This is WIC-TV, your new spirit station in Pittsburgh.
Brown, 1-yard touchdown smash up the middle, and the Cardinals lead 15-7. Little missed the extra point, drives it down to Larry Anderson at the 3, 15, 20, running room outside 25. He is out of bounds at the 34-yard line. First down, Pittsburgh. Ron Anderson, what did he do? Throw the ball after he was out of bounds?
Yeah, it looked like he spiked the ball, which is an automatic penalty. The official must not have been right on top of it because there was no penalty. Bradshaw, 5 of 9 for 86 yards, and I'm sure he's still smarting from that interception that set up that drive and set up the touchdown. Let's see what he can do with his Pittsburgh Steelers.
47-year-old Chuck Noll observing from the sidelines. Franco Harris, 40, out out to the 43. Knifing tackle by Niels, 53, supported by Carney, 56. His team last year, after an 0-8 start, finished 6-2. Draw, and Harris lurching to the 45-yard line, which would be a first down.
We had given Tim Carney a little bad ink earlier in the game as he was called for a penalty. Let's watch him make a great play here. Starts a reaction to the outside, reads the draw, quickly changes direction, and goes up inside to put the wood to Franco Harris. Excellent football play.
Speaking of Kansas City, a team that Carney once played for, they have lost to Houston 20-6. So the Oilers back on the track with a win today. They're 2-1. Of course, in the same division as Pittsburgh, and Cleveland also in that Central Division, a winner today. They're 3-0. First down at the 45. Thornton stays on his feet, and now Carney gets him the second time. Carney hit him, stopped him cold. Thornton, who's 5'11" and 230, has bounced back a step, but couldn't find any place to go.
He was being most effective against the pass game, but here you see how effective it is against the run game as Carney is blitzing and runs head-on into Thornton. Amazing that Thornton kept his balance, but there is nowhere to go. You see Pollard there, Niels there, and Carney himself as they close in and take him down for a big loss.
2nd and 15 at the Pittsburgh 40. Quick toss to Harris. Read well, and Green from the secondary fumble, and who's got it? Pittsburgh back at the 35-yard line.
No one gained control of it. One of the responsibilities of the outside receivers is not only to catch the ball, but to block. Lynn Swan, unfortunately, on that play, didn't do much of a job blocking on a safety, corner man. Watch him right here. His job is to occupy that number 45 is Smith. Smith was one of the people who was right on top of that tackle, knocked the ball loose. Unfortunately, no one got a hold of it before it went out of bounds. Pittsburgh will retain the ball, but they've got 3rd and about 20 yards to go.
Bradshaw facing a pass situation. To Cunningham at the 45, first down at the 41-yard line. And the Steelers on 3rd and 20 find that rainbow toss from Bradshaw right in the arms of the giant target Cunningham, and a first down Pittsburgh.
Terry Bradshaw reading that defense perfectly and throwing a beautiful pass that hung forever. Gave Cunningham a chance to run underneath it, had plenty of room, knew where that first down was, and got it.
Big play for Pittsburgh. First down at the 40. Otherwise, they would have had to kick the ball to the Cardinals, who lead 15-7. Less than 6 minutes remaining in this first half.
That's their first conversion on 3rd down, isn't it, Dick?
I believe it is. Bradshaw long for Stallworth. Out of bounds. He caught the ball but was out of bounds. Roger Worley on the coverage. But again, Bradshaw, what a throw. He was just inches from scoring on that toss.
You see Charlie Davis working in the middle on Webster. Webster doing a fine job. Gets a little help from Corson. They give Bradshaw a chance to throw. Now watch the feet. He's out of bounds. Watch it right there. Now the official has got to judge whether his own momentum carried him out of bounds or whether the hit by the defensive back carried him out of bounds. In that case, he judged that he would have landed out of bounds on his own momentum. Calls it out. Good decision, I believe, from our angle.
2nd and 10 at the 40 of St. Louis. Up the middle. And I believe Pittsburgh recovers their own miscue. And the Steelers have indeed been fortunate the last 2 weeks. They recovered 3 of their own fumbles last week against Houston, and Larry Brown, the man on the spot, to cover the second one today. Pittsburgh has fumbled 4 times.
Well, and each of those has been a forced fumble. They haven't been sloppy fumbles. They've been caused by hits. You see right there, Captain Crunch, Pollard reaching back and got a hold of Franco's arm and just forced him to cough that football up. They are very lucky to have it again, although it's going to be 3rd and 8, and we've got the specialty unit on the field. 4-man rush, 6 defensive backs in the game.
From the 39, 3rd and 9 for Bradshaw. Good time. Broken up nicely by Ken Stone. That's almost like a man playing against the pivot in basketball. He was screened away from Cunningham, was able to spin around and get a hand on the pass and knock it away.
Absolutely a superb play. The defender is not allowed to run through the receiver to get at that ball, and he just spun around him. Watch him right here. Spins around without making contact, reaches out, takes the backhand, knocks it away, almost like a bullfighter. Marvelous play.
89 Cunningham says, hey, you took my wallet. That's my money you're taking.
Where's my football?
Willard Harrell, the deep man, but they're going to try to down this one, and do they in time? Where are they going to call it? In the end zone? Yes, it'll be a touchback for St. Louis, as 49 Dwayne Woodruff came ever so close to getting that ball down inside the 1. So Craig Colquitt, a near miss. It's St. Louis at their own 20, and the Cardinals, an underdog to Pittsburgh, have the lead. National competition, diving, and USAC dirt car racing. 100-mile race from Du Quoin, Illinois. Draw play. Otis Brown. They call him Bigfoot at UCLA, and for good reason. Brown wears a 14 double or triple E shoe. He's pretty good on the wet carpet.
Wouldn't want to have him kick you with that foot either. One of the things that impresses me, we felt, Dick, last year watching the Cardinals play, that one of their great weaknesses was a lack of speed, especially to the outside. They've cured that with Anderson, and they've also got big Otis Brown, who can go up inside, and if he breaks loose, he's got about 4.6 speed too.
2nd and 3, Hart. 6 for 12 passing, make it 7 for 13 as Anderson gets the first down at the 31-yard line. So Otis Anderson showing he can catch the ball as well as run it. So often that's the case. You can't get the combination. A man runs well but doesn't have the good hands. It appears Anderson has the full package. There's the halftime score. Seattle leading Oakland. So the Raiders shut out the first 30 minutes by the Seahawks.
Seattle off to an 0-2 start. I'm sure Jack Patera is excited by the fact that they're ahead. Anderson also blocks well and apparently is a complete back. We'll look more at him today. He's an outstanding young prospect.
Hart now only 4 completions away from 2,000. Not much of a hole there for Brown, who gets a couple of yards out to the 33. Don't forget halftime, all the scores and highlights on it.
To establish his relationship to this Pittsburgh defensive team. What an outstanding player he is.
Fumble and recovered by Pittsburgh. 57, is it? 67. Gary Dunn from Miami of Florida has again a mistake on the handoff, and the Steelers get a big break before halftime with 3:12 left in this first half. The Steelers now with a chance to convert a turnover.
Oh, we've seen the ball on the carpet a lot of times today, and that's unusual, especially to see that many this early in the game. 2 weeks in a row we've had a lot of fumbles. This week they've been picked up by the opposition.
From the St. Louis 29, Bradshaw on a double wing. Gives it to Harris, runs into his own man, and a flag goes down. Charlie Davis, 76, the nose tackle of the Cardinals, doing a fine job and running right into that play. There just wasn't a hole.
Well, the holding call. Lots of those today, too. Certainly that's one of the things we're seeing more and more of with the liberalization, shall we say, of the use of the hands by the offensive linemen. They've really changed their blocking techniques and are being flagged more and more, especially on running plays.
Holding, number 52, offense, first down.
That's the second holding call against the All-Pro center, Mike Webster of the Steelers.
Perhaps an indication that he's got his hands full with Mr. Davis out
no
there.
pun intended, I trust. Second down 20, or check it, 1st and 20. Thornton, and he stopped at the 38. Mike Dawson, 73, the defensive end from Arizona, who hunts javelinas in the offseason, the wild pigs, and he hunted down Thornton after a short gain.
Decided they didn't want to eat there.
Have a look at a javelina, huh?
Right.
Bradshaw. Deep for Grossman, and he just threw that one away. Ken Stone, 23, the Cardinal safety, was closer to the ball. So we have 2 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in the first half. Bradshaw, his team trailing 15-7, now looks at a 3rd down 18,
proved themselves tremendously, and they are really hot out there today.
Bradshaw under a blitz. And they get Bradshaw, who doesn't load the ball, and there's no penalty flag down. And oh, Bradshaw is hurt. Bradshaw crumpled under that pile of white jerseys, and that's a sight that no one likes to see. Bazuk and Jankowski coming in from the two ends. And let's hope that the writhing pain of Bradshaw reflects only a injury that is not serious, and something that painful now but won't carry him out of action for any extended period of time. But it does not look good. That comes at the 2:16 mark remaining in this first half. We have a timeout. The score at Busch Stadium, St. Louis. The Cardinals 15, the Steelers 7. More important, the condition of Bradshaw. We'll be right back.
For everyone who's concerned as you see the stretcher being trotted onto the field.
You wonder if it is a knee after all. They're taking off the shoe, and the pain of Bradshaw, and of course any of you watching now that have ever suffered a fracture, you're the one who knows it. You hear it, and it doesn't look good, obviously, and for Bradshaw it's either an ankle or a knee, and they're going to need the stretcher to take the most valuable player off the field.
He went down under a tremendous rush, and 4 very big people right on top of him. He took a lot of weight. One thing that is tremendous about the advances in technology, Dick, they'll have an X-ray unit right in the dressing room. Let's see if we can't pick it up. You see the pressure. Zook on the outside, 78, Jankowski right there, and it's Zook who has him. It looks like the leg went under about 2 different guys right there, and Bradshaw spinning out of there, holding the ankle, it looks like. Not the knee, but the ankle. So Bradshaw being helped from the field. We would hope that perhaps is a bad sprain rather than anything more serious. Mike Krusik, number 15, has not had a lot of playing time. Certainly one of the question marks. Do they have someone who can come in and fill the tremendously important role that Bradshaw's filled for so long? And you hear the fans here. They really have great respect.
Terry Bradshaw 6 for 14, but that's a statistic that means nothing. Here it is again. Apparently the ankle crumpling under the attack of all that Cardinal beef. There, the left ankle gets turned underneath and then perhaps locked, and with the weight falling against it, either a fracture or a sprain. Colquitt has to punt, and it goes into the end zone. At this point, you get that feeling the game's kind of flat. The real story is back in that Pittsburgh locker room.
These Cardinals went through that last week with Deerdorf. And
what does that mean? That's an interesting point. What that does to a team, and Deerdorf's reaction was so interesting. What he told Bud Wilkinson, I let the team down. What an interesting comment from a man who certainly didn't want to be hurt.
Well, I'm sure Bradshaw will feel the same way. His commitment and Deerdorf's commitment are really the commitments of all pros who say, I want to do what I can to help my team, and if they're not there, they feel like they've kind of cheated their teammates. Incredible performers, both of them, and I for one, I'm sure our fans tuned in across the country are very sad to see a player like that leave the field.
Hart dumps it off to Theodis Brown. Does not get out of bounds. Down at the 25, and Lambert came close to a late hit. There's the 2-minute warning. The official 2-minute warning with the score 15-7 St. Louis. Hart and the Cardinals will try to generate an offense and build on that halftime lead. Only 9 men in NFL history belong to that 2000 completion club. Jim Hart 3 away, and we may just see him try for those 3 before halftime because there's 2 minutes remaining, and the Cardinals with a 15-7 lead figure to throw the ball. 2nd and 5 at their 25. Anderson gets only a couple to the 27-yard line. See if Hart spends one of his timeouts. No. Dunn and Lambert and company making the tackle for Pittsburgh. In comes Dave Stief, 84, with a play from the sidelines.
Wilkinson may be happy to sit on that 8-point lead. Certainly missing the 2 extra points hurts, but still they're more than a full touchdown out, and that's a pretty comfortable margin as you approach the half. Looks like he's going to be happy with it.
1:28, 1:27 clock running. Almost intercepted by Jack Ham, who leads all the active NFL linebackers with 26. He doesn't drop too many.
You hear pool players talk about a long green, and that's what Jack Ham had in front of him. Not a single player out there. If Ham could control that football, he could have turned it up the field and might well have had a touchdown.
Boy, how well he knows that. Determined, tough, bright. He's the linebacker non-Perel. 1:19 left, and the Steelers will get a shot at cutting into the lead before the intermission. See if they're going to go after the punter Little. He's acting as if he thinks they're coming. Cardinals going to call time. I fear that Little wasn't convinced he had 10 men blocking for him.
Some of those Steelers look like two people. Maybe he was counting them as such.
They didn't call time. That's a 5-yard penalty, delay of game. 15-7. In case you joined us late, the Cardinals recovered a fumble on the first play of the game, could not convert it. Finally did go ahead 6-0 on a 12-yard run by rookie Otis Anderson. Stallworth touchdown from Bradshaw of 18 yards after a field goal, short field goal, made it 9-7. Beautiful kick by Little. Jim Smith to his 25, 30, 34-yard line. Good coverage by the Cardinals. 53-yard kick, and we've got a forearm thrown by J.T. Thomas, perhaps in retaliation, but that one was wide open where everyone saw it, and we have a flag down at the 44.
That's number 55, Eric Williams. Bad Red Williams at the other end of that battle. Let's see what the officials do as they sort it out. I wouldn't be surprised to see somebody ejected on that one.
I would think so. It appeared that there were punches thrown.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 55, number 24, both dead ball fouls, offset, first down that way.
Personal foul, no indication by referee Jerry Markbright that those men had been ejected, so apparently it's just a wash. Thomas would have gotten 15 yards out of it, but he retaliated, and that wiped out the 15 that Eric Williams would have pulled for his initial foul.
You've got to control those emotions on the field, at least in retaliation. That's the one that always seems to cost you the most.
Mike Kruzik is now the quarterback for Pittsburgh. Wide open, Lynn Swann to the 50. He's to the 48. Time 58 seconds left in this first half. Score: St. Louis 15, Pittsburgh 7. Kruzik in relief of the injured Terry Bradshaw, trying to drive the Steelers to a score before the intermission. He hits an 18-yard pass, 3, and maybe happy they've kept 3. Bradshaw taken off on a stretcher with an ankle injury. First down play to Rocky Blyer, his first carry of the year, and he's going out of bounds at the 37-yard line. So Blyer picks up around 10 and stops the clock with 43 seconds left. That was his first carry.
A lot pleased to see number 20 back in the lineup. Certainly a real competitor. Rocky doesn't have some of the wide open athletic skill, but I've never seen an athlete who wants it more badly than he does. Watching there, boy, his eyes got big. He said, I'm going to get every inch I can, and I will get out of bounds, which he did.
And a first down for the Steelers. We have 2 timeouts left. Kruzik flagged down to Hawthorne, the rookie from Baylor. He doesn't get out of bounds. Hawthorne did not get out of bounds. The tackle by 57, Mark Arneson, the 8-year veteran from Arizona. So the Steelers stop the clock, use a timeout, 33 seconds left, or maybe, no, this is for the penalty. Against Pittsburgh, motion. Stops the clock, 33 seconds left. Pittsburgh trails by 8.
Crunch, they call him.
Offense not set for a full second. Declined. Second down.
They take the play to the Cardinals because there was a loss of 2 yards. 2nd and 12. Kruzik down the middle. Swan. 19-yard line, first down. The acrobatic wide receiver Swan has the Steelers deep in Cardinal territory, and 77 Steve Corson is limping off injured for Pittsburgh. So the clock was running. Pittsburgh trying to run a play without a huddle, but Kruzik didn't have an offensive lineman as Corson was hurt on the play.
You can see Kruzik going back, and we said that game breaker Lynn Swan would make his appearance shortly. There he is. And one of the patented Swan high leaping catches. Kruzik threw it exactly as Bradshaw, his mentor, would have thrown it. Put it right on the money, and Swan brought it down. That injury to Corson, very dangerous. They're already dangerously low on offensive linemen. Ray Penny lost for the year. Sam Davis, of course, they don't want to have to play him today. You see him on the sideline. He's not ready yet. They have got young Tom Dornbrook into the ball game. Corson, they were worried about. They knew he had a problem going into the game. Had been playing well, but a young rook in there, actually a second-year player with 1 year experience. Dornbrook has gone in now to try and fill in for Corson.
It's an emotional, very important time for the Steelers to come out of this with some points, and ideally for Pittsburgh, because their season may rest in the hands of Mike Kruzik. For him to get Pittsburgh a touchdown would give them a tremendous lift, I would think, at the intermission.
Certainly do the yours, that hamstring. You may be out for 6 or 8 weeks, and we can't afford that.
Kruzik perfect on this drive. First down at the 19. Under pressure. Grossman. Ball tipped and almost went back to Swan standing on the goal line. Ken Stone, 23 on the coverage for St. Louis. That stops the clock. 13 seconds left in this first half. The Cardinals leading the Steelers 15-7.
Zook and Dawson both in, giving Kruzik all kinds of pressure on that play, but he was pretty cool. I've been impressed with him so far, and certainly one of the marks of this Pittsburgh team is the kind of quality depth that they keep demonstrating week in and week out. You can't show me another team in football that can put as many starters on the sideline and still play good football.
Report on Corson, bruised right knee, probably will return. Harris on a draw to the 17, a play that has worked through the years for the Steelers when the defense has anticipated pass, but the Cardinals read it well, and here comes Matt Barr in to try a field goal. Barr is 2 for 4. He's hit from 41 and from 45 yards in the first 2 weeks. And this one, apparently, out of the hold of Colquitt from the 25, will be 35 yards. Eight seconds remaining in the half. Official stopping the clock, and now both teams are set. Wide to the left. So the Steelers are hit in the head with 2 tough emotional blows. The loss of their Super Bowl most valuable player, quarterback Terry Bradshaw, and then a drive engineered